A brain, an athlete, a basket case, a princess, and a criminal walk into a high school library.
And somehow leave with a new identity and a criminal record. We're revisiting The Breakfast Club, the movie that told us that detention fixes everything, including assault.
It's iconic, it's messy, it's time.
Welcome to the Shermer High Alumni Association.
Hi, how are you?
Totally phenomenal. How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty fast week. It was busy.
Yes, it was a busy week.
Yeah.
Very, very busy.
So this week's movie is The Breakfast Club. And it came out in 1985. So obviously we didn't see this like in theaters. We definitely saw this on VHS. It was definitely a Friday night rental.
For sure.
But I think this is our first episode where it's like, this is an icon.
Yeah, quintessential 80s movie.
She's a queen. She holds her place in power and always will.
Yes.
Now, does it have a little cringe in it? Yeah,
For sure.
for sure. And I want to talk, we'll talk about that. But again, if you've been living under a rock, The Breakfast Club is a 1985 American indie teen coming-of-age comedy drama written, produced, and directed by His Holiness John Hughes. It stars Emilio Estevez, Paul Gleason, Anthony Michael Hall, Judd Nelson, Molly Ringwald, and Ally Sheedy. And this movie tells the story of 5 teenagers from different high school cliques who serve Saturday school, overseen by their vice principal. So we're going to call it Saturday school because that's what it was called for me.
Yes, I struggled with that a few times when I was writing my notes. I'm like, detention.
Yeah, it's not detention. It's a Saturday school. It's a Saturday in-school suspension. Basically.
Saturday school was way worse than detention.
Yeah. How many times did you have? Did you have Saturday school?
I don't remember.
You probably didn't.
Probably not.
Probably not.
I don't feel like I was ever really in trouble.
Okay. Well, I was there a lot.
Yes, I remember that.
I was there a lot. And
yeah.
So it's a very familiar setting for me.
I'm sure it didn't go like this, though.
No, not at all.
I think it was a little different.
Not at all. I do think, mostly it was in the new cafeteria, what was considered the new cafeteria at that time.
Yes.
But sometimes it was in the LRC. It depended, but usually it was in the cafeteria. So you were sitting at cafeteria tables.
Ugh. Could you imagine doing that now?
No. Oh my God. I would last 5 minutes.
Yeah. Like our backs, your butt.
Yeah.
Oh God.
But then it all depended on who was overseeing Saturday school, how horrible it was going to be or how okay it was going to be, because I faintly remember one of the teachers that oversaw it, let us go outside, in the front. There was a grass area. I do remember that. But we didn't have free reign walking around the school or anything like that. And I do believe it was 4 hours. Yeah.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah. So this movie definitely touches on a lot of different little micro subjects, right?
Yes, it does.
So it kind of, I don't know the word I'm looking for. So it talks about, like, the pressures, the social pressures put onto teenagers, which, is still true today. I did talk to the Gen Zer here about some of these subjects. And, you
Yep.
know, they, these students at the beginning of the movie, it looks like they have very little in common. But what we eventually come to see is that, they're not exactly different, right?
Right.
They all have a commonality. So then there's Mr. Vernon.
Hmm.
So he's portrayed that I guess you could say it's arguably he has no redeeming qualities. He constantly talks down to the students. He's in the basement accessing private files. He's flaunting his own authority. I don't know how accurate that is. I don't know if others have that experience. I didn't. But then again, our house principal was on a first name basis with our parents.
Yes, he was. Our parents spent a lot of time on the phone with him about you.
About you,
You. Not about me.
Mr. Posendek. Yes.
Yes. I love that you sort of have like a lasting impression on that school though. Even like when my son went there, that like they would go, "Oh, Mr. Zabriskie, are you Kristen's son?" And he'd go, "No, I'm Janine's son." And they would go, "Oh, oh, the other Zabriskie sister." Like I didn't
Exist.
didn't even leave an impression on
You were
any of
off
them.
radar.
Like no, but they knew exactly who you were. So that's good though.
It was even when I was walking across the stage and I was getting my diploma. Posendek was like, "I can't believe you did it."
Exactly. They were probably like, "Get her the hell out of here."
Yeah, they were like, "She got go. She got
Yeah.
go."
Here's your diploma. Get the hell out of here.
But it does, Shermer High. So Shermer High, which is our namesake here at the
Yes,
Shermer High Alumni Association, is
it is.
based off of the Breakfast Club for all intents and purposes. Shermer, Illinois, which is a made up town by John Hughes, which has a real zip code. So when we get into the movie, they talk, 60062, which is Northbrook, Illinois. So anybody who kind of had that in their head that it was in Illinois, this is why, because that's a valid zip code, which I thought was that was interesting. But they shot it they did shoot it in Illinois at the Maine North High School. The actors in this movie were all like up and coming. This movie was the movie that really coined the term brat pack,
Yes.
right? So you had Molly Ringwald and Anthony Michael Hall, both of whom were 16
Yes.
when this filmed, which was great. They were actual high school aged actors. And then you had Grandpa Judd Nelson there.
Yeah, he was 24.
25. Yeah, 24. And so he definitely did not fit that high school look, like, whatsoever. I he looked like a grown ass adult.
Yeah, and Emilio Estevez and Ally Sheedy, they were 21.
Right. So they're just kind of like barely still have a little, you can kind of tell with Ally Sheedy, she still has a little baby fat to her,
Yeah.
So, and then to make us feel old, Paul Gleason was 45.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Oh, but we look so much better than that.
Gen X, man, we are the best aging generation. We really are. I mean, we all still look like we're in our 20s.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when this movie came out, do you know when it was released? I don't remember when it was released.
It was released on February 15th of 1985. It premiered in Los Angeles on February 7th of 1985, and then it was theatrically released on February 15th of 1985.
Oh. February of 1985 was not a good time for our family.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was, wow. That's interesting. Interesting. So that came out. Do you know what it came out with? Did anything else come out that week? Because it did amazing. No. That's
I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah. Well, we don't know because it doesn't matter. Because it grossed $51.5 million against the $1 million budget that they had.
Yes.
So it was a box office hit smash, And just this year, just in February of this year, the film turned 40 years old.
That makes us feel so old.
I know.
And
they all had gotten together. Did you see that?
Yes.
Yeah. They all look relatively well, but they all look great. They all really do. And they all individually went off into their own careers. Like they didn't get, Molly Ringwald did get stereotyped a bit in her adulthood. But she was the little queen of the 80s, that's for sure. So,
yes.
So very, not a ton of movies on Rotten Tomatoes, get glowing reviews, right?
No.
But they get an 87%. It's a certified fresh movie, and we're here for it.
Hell yes.
So let's dive in.
So the plot of the movie is essentially that these 5 students show up for what we call Saturday school or detention. And the 5 students who arrive are Brian Johnson, who is the brain, Andrew Clark, who is the jock, Allison Reynolds, who is sort of the loner weird girl, and Claire Standish, who is the popular princess, and then of course John Bender, who is the rebel. They sort of gather in the school library for this Saturday detention, and the vice principal, Richard Vernon, comes in and he says, hey, we're going to sort of change things up. You guys need to write this 1,000-word essay about who you think you are. The movie actually starts with a quote from David Bowie from the song Changes. And from what I read, this was actually suggested to John Hughes by Ally Sheedy. She really loved this quote, and she thought that it fit into the movie really well, and he loved it too, so they added it. I'll read the quote for those that don't know. And these children that you spit on as they try to change their worlds are immune to your consultations. They're quite aware of what they're going through. So yeah, they added that to the movie because they thought it was pretty cool. The beginning is kind of funny, that the parents are dropping them off, and, you kind of see I think Brian's mom and sister is funny that it's really his mom and sister
Yeah.
that are dropping him off for
Yeah.
detention. I think you made a little note about the license plate.
Oh yeah. EMC squared.
Yes, EMT squared, which
Yeah.
was pretty good.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and Claire gets out of her BMW, and her father is, really sorry he can't get her out of Saturday school, but that's just, he'll make it up to her. So you kind of get a glimpse at what
Their backgrounds,
their
right?
background is, and
Like Andrew with his father.
yes, and Andrew with his father, who is kind of telling him, you don't want to blow your ride, man. Like you screwed up and don't ever do it again, is the premise that you get from him. The intro is fun. And then once they get into that library is when they have to kind of learn who each other are. Mr. Vernon comes in. He's like, hey, you got to write this essay. Do you guys have any questions? I love that Brian is like, or I'm sorry, John says, yeah, I got a question. Does Barry Manilow know that you rate his wardrobe?
I'll give you the answer to that, Mr. Bender, next Saturday.
Don't
Again,
mess with the bull, young man. You'll get the horns.
That's it's such a stereotypical contentious relationship between the rebel and the administrator.
Yeah, just for speaking out, he gives him like multiple detentions just for talking back to him. Essentially,
Right.
like he didn't really do anything wrong. I get it that
He was
he
talking
pulled
back.
he pulled the fire alarm,
Yeah.
which gives you a good reason to go to detention. But all he's doing is talking back, and then he gives him like an additional 6 Saturday school. So it's like, yeah. So then Mr. Vernon leaves the room, and that's when things get interesting.
So it was right after that where Bender was like, let's get the prom queen impregnated. Like, whoa, bro, what? Like, that escalated quickly.
Yeah, so his plans are, let's close the door, and then what? We're gonna like gang up on her?
Right. Like, what an interesting take, right? Like, you're so rebellious, and yet your rebellious act is sexual assault.
Yes.
Like, and it's such a theme across movies in the 80s.
That
Like, you would
was
never
like,
hear a line like that today. You would never
no.
hear that. And that's what, and John just keeps going, right? He just keeps going and, asking if Andrew and Claire,
Yeah.
our boyfriend, girlfriend,
Yes.
lovers, tell me, Sporto, do you give her the hot beef injection? What the fuck?
Yes. I mean, at least, like back then we didn't think anything of it. That it was just like, wow, he's kind of vulgar. But you didn't think about how
Well, we were young
inappropriate
enough
it
to think it
was.
was hot dogs. Like,
Yes, yes. I don't think and it's funny, there's so many movies that they make like little comments like that like, we're like in our 40s that you go, oh my God, that's what that meant?
right. Like,
Yeah.
and that, later on when this would get syndicated on TV, this was definitely one of the ones that got dubbed over. Like
For
he
sure.
was not allowed. Can you imagine what is said on TV today? And think
Yeah.
back then, and they dubbed over hot beef injection.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
So they have this nice little conversation about that. And then John.
Andrew. Is it Andrew that says faggot?
Yeah. But that's John also calls, does he say to Claire, or does he say to Brian, hey, Cherry? Oh, he says it to Claire. Hey, Cherry. Like, is that how you address people? Like their versions? Yeah. I don't know.
People used to call me Red all the time. Like, hey, Red.
Well, I mean, that was different because they were talking about your hair color. He's
But
talking
I
about the
think,
fact that she's a virgin.
oh, is he? I just figured
Yeah.
he was talking about her hair color.
No, he's talking about the fact that she is a virgin.
Hmm.
And then Andrew calls John a faggot.
It's just so crazy to me. And it is and it isn't that. And it was also written on the locker, right?
Yeah.
Bag was written on the locker. That this was like funny. This was
Mm-hmm.
funny. Like,
Yeah.
um,
And it was just like a normal everyday derogatory term that you just called somebody.
I mean, even up until when we were in high school, it was
Yeah.
commonly used.
All the
Commonly used.
all the time.
Right. So this is where the cringe meter hits for me. I don't think it appears again in the film. I think this is it. Uh, but it was not dubbed over.
Yeah. So his line was, "You wouldn't know anything about it, faggot. You never competed in your whole life."
Right.
Yeah.
Half beef injection was dubbed over, but
But
not
not
you wouldn't
faggot.
know anything about it, faggot. So that, telling of the times.
Very, very much so. Yes.
Yeah. And you don't hear this a lot throughout John Hughes films. I feel like John Hughes does a relatively good job at being neutral. I wouldn't say inclusive because that was a room full of white people.
Yep.
There was no color in that room.
Not at all.
But yeah, so we'll move on from that. So that's where the cringe meter ranks the highest. Okay, so no, so the door was still open, right? No. Or was it lunchtime that he says the eat my shorts thing? Like it was in that part. I think that's when no, it was before lunch. Now I have to rewatch the movie.
I mean, I just watched it like yesterday, so again,
If he
I
gets
watched
up,
it. So...
we'll all get up. It'll be anarchy.
Yeah, because he's having Andrew get up to move the magazine rack to open the
Right.
door
And
after he pulled the pin out,
you're right.
and um, he's like, "Wait, why does Andrew get to get up? If he gets up, we'll all get up. It'll be anarchy." And Mr. Vernon is like, I know you're the one that pulled the pin out, blah blah blah, and this is where he's like, do you want another detention? Yes. Do you want to keep going? Yes. Are you done? No.
No.
And then, he gives him all these detentions, and then when Mr. Vernon goes to walk out the door is when he's like, "Eat my shorts." Or no, I'm sorry.
No, he says
He's
eat my
like,
shorts. That's what gets him in trouble.
yeah, "Eat my
When
shorts."
he slams the door, I
Yeah, that's
believe
for
he
the
says F you.
yeah.
Um, but you can't like make it out really. So that just goes into everyone's just in detention. They're just
Sort of wasting
being
time.
kids, right? Being teenagers.
Playing paper football. Bender smoking, Claire sleeping, Allison's drawing when she uses the dandruff from her hair to make snow on her drawing.
This is brilliant.
Yes. This is kind of when John and Brian start talking about how nerdy Brian is. And is this where he says you're a parent's wet dream or something? And then John is kind of asking Claire if she's a virgin. And he's like, "Yeah, I bet you are." And Andrew's like, "Dude, like, just stop asking her that." And it just seems like it's very important to John whether or not Claire is a virgin, because he brings it
Yeah.
up several times
He
at the beginning of the movie.
he really harps on it.
Yeah. And so Andrew's kind of defending her, and, John and, Andrew get into this sort of argument, and he says, "You and what army are going to fight me?" And this is, I mean, I say this line a lot where he's like, Andrew says it's just me. 2 hits, me hitting you and you hitting the floor.
You say that a lot?
I say it a lot. It's 2 hits, me hitting you, you hitting the floor. So Bender actually pulls out a knife. And this is where you sort of get this feeling like, oh shit. Shit's getting real. Like, and
Right.
everybody's face is like, what the hell? He just pulled a knife out, but then he just stabs it into a chair. And then Allison immediately steals the knife.
Which is fantastic. So, like, you know, how jaw-dropping that was to students at that time, right? Pulling out a knife.
Yeah.
Today, you just figure everybody has a knife, if not a gun. That's the first indication of, like, this guy's got something going on. Something's going on with this guy. So then they just kind of cut to them all sort of.
So now we've moved on to lunch.
And Mr. Vernon comes in.
And
so Andrew and oh my God, what's Ally Sheedy's name?
Allison.
Oh my God, it's her same name.
It's her name.
It's her actual. So they're tasked with going to get the milk.
Yes.
And so there's that scene
where they kind of.
It's cringy though too. It's so cringy. Like he's trying to have a conversation with her, but she's like, "No, I'm aloof.
I love to drink vodka.
Whenever."
Yeah.
What?
What? Yes, that was interesting. But they don't go get milk. They go and get Coke from the teacher's lounge.
They do.
Yeah. So everybody gets Coke.
That's not the same thing.
No, it's not. Milk and Coke are not the same.
They're not.
But Andrew brought his own milk.
He did.
So I don't know why he was asking for more milk, because he brought a half gallon of milk, which I would like to know where he was refrigerating that. That's the first thing I thought of when he pulled out the milk. I'm like, where was he
It's been sitting under the desk all morning.
Been sitting there all morning, and he's just going to drink warm milk. Ugh.
Maybe it was not pasteurized milk.
Let's hope so.
It's a movie.
Otherwise he's going to have some gastrointestinal distress later. Yeah, so everybody brought lunch. Claire brought sushi. John didn't know what it was.
Well, right. Where was that all morning as well? That's even worse than the milk. Like,
right.
Just built-in refrigerators underneath these desks. Sushi. Like, ew. Did that just sit out for the past 4 hours? Gross. Ew.
Yeah.
Even if it was like a California roll, like gross.
It would still be warm and all. Yeah. I'm hoping that they had a refrigerator that they were allowed to put their lunches in.
We just didn't see that scene. It got cut.
Yeah.
Of them all going to a properly refrigerated cooler and getting their stuff out.
Yes.
That's what we're going to go with.
We sound like moms now.
Yeah.
I really hope that you refrigerated your lunch.
Literally zero people, like 0 kids seeing this movie was like, God, I hope that was refrigerated.
Yeah, that milk was probably really disgusting. Yeah, so Andrew brought a gigantic lunch. So he pulls out 3 sandwiches. He's got this giant bag of cookies. He's got that half gallon of milk. He has this large bag of potato chips, not like what you would bring in a lunch. He brings like a full-size bag of potato chips, and then he pulls out a banana and an apple, and John is just staring at him like, what the hell is all of that? And then Allison makes her a really awesome sandwich.
So I have a question about that.
That she had pickle and pimento.
Who made her the pimento loaf sandwich in the first place? If her parents ignore her, like maybe they have like
a driver or a nanny,
or maybe like who made her that? Because if she made it, that doesn't make sense. Who made her the sandwich?
I mean, I assume that her parents probably give her, like, basic human needs.
No, I don't think they do. No, 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 no way. My parents ignore me. Then your mom ain't making you a pimento loaf sandwich. Not.
Hmm.
So I'm
Unless
thinking
maybe
maybe they have
she,
staff. Maybe they have staff. Maybe like a
because whoever drops her off in the morning, I was trying to figure this out. That was a Cadillac, wasn't it?
think so.
I think it was a Cadillac.
And it was her
And
parents.
I don't know though,
I
because she
think
kind of moves forward like to say bye, but they just pull away.
it's her
But
parents.
hmm,
Everyone else had parents. Like she had parents and they ignored her and
for
drove
some
away.
reason it gave me the indication that, like, because she was in the back seat, so I was like, maybe she's very rich and they have a chauffeur.
No, it was her parents. And
Okay.
they ignored her.
Yes. Okay. So somebody made her a lunch.
Somebody made her a lunch.
Maybe she just picked it up at a corner store. Or maybe she packed it herself and then she decided she didn't really want that.
Yeah. Anyway, so she throws it up on the statue.
Yes. And then she decides she has pixie sticks and she pours those onto, was it mayonnaise that was on there? Or
Ew, no.
I don't,
Was
there
there a
was,
condiment on there?
it looked like there was something on the
Butter.
bread.
It was butter.
Butter.
It's butter.
Okay, that makes it worse. And so she
And
pours,
mayonnaise?
well, what would you put on a sandwich with pimento loaf? Butter?
No, I just remember reading that it was butter. I don't like that sandwich makes no fucking sense.
None.
What the
Because if it's butter, it really doesn't make sense. But if it's mayonnaise, then that makes the pixie sticks really disgusting.
right?
Anyway, there's something on that sandwich. She puts pixie sticks on it and then she adds Captain Crunch
Fuck yeah.
on top of that. And then she eats it like this is something she normally eats. And then Brian pulls out this, like, little kid lunch that's like he has
Juice box,
soup in a little
thermos.
thermos, and then he's got PB&J with the crust cut off. And Bender says, "Did your mom marry Mr. Rogers?" And Brian goes, "No, Mr. Johnson." It was good. So then they start.
Going back to Allison's lunch, because I'm not going to get over this. Apparently, I think that is such a excellent example of Gen X diets.
Yes.
We were all raised on preservatives, right?
Yes.
I was just talking to one of our cousins yesterday, and I was telling her about, like, I'm done cooking. I don't really cook anymore. Leave that up to Tavia for the most part. I've been a mom for 31 years. I'm tired. And I will absolutely eat a bowl of Frosted Flakes for dinner.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yes.
And that is fine. See, right? Like,
Yes.
I think we're the
100%. It's
only,
just so much easier to
right.
just throw some cereal in a bowl and, well,
I
I
had
have to
Eggo
use oat
waffles
milk,
for
but
dinner last night. I find that acceptable. Like,
me
I like,
too.
so it's just, I think that's a very unique Gen X thing.
Yeah.
That we were the latchkey kids, right? We were the first latchkeys.
Mm-hmm.
We were really that first generation with divorced parents, more common than not. We, for better or worse, have parents that are still married to each other, but we did have a period of time where we were latchkey.
Yep.
So you were responsible for feeding yourself at, a very young age. And
So a
well,
Pixie Sticks and Captain
yeah,
Crunch
I'm like,
cereal sandwich
yes, girl. Yep.
sounds about right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because
So it
if it
doesn't gross me
sounded,
out at all. I'm like, yeah, I
yeah, if
see
it
it.
sounded good, then you were like,
Yeah,
this is what I'm eating.
I'm going to do this. So her lunch was the one I related to the most out of all the lunches. So,
Yeah.
um,
Definitely not the sushi. I don't even think I knew what sushi was until I was like an adult.
The whitest white girl thing you've ever said.
Yes, I really didn't. And I don't know that I've ever eaten sushi, really.
Well, you're a vegetarian.
Yeah, but they make vegetarian
They
sushi.
do. No. I know, but it's
I've
not
just
like,
never, I don't know, it's not appealing to me, but my son can eat sushi like it's going out of style.
oh
I
yeah.
mean, he'll eat all the sushi, raw, whatever. He eats all of it.
But you
Ugh.
fed him fish growing up, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, and we weren't raised that way.
I fed him everything. I mean,
Yeah.
he has such a vast palate. He'll eat anything.
And that's the same with the girl. Like she was raised to eat all the things
Yeah,
and she'll try anything once, but we weren't raised that way
not at all.
at all.
Unless you want Spam Oriental.
You could have, oh God.
That is a Gen X meal.
Maybe just in our house. I don't know. I don't think that was a thing.
Did
But
Dad,
tuna helper was common in our
I made
home.
that. I made that the other night.
Did you?
Yes, I randomly saw it at the store, and I was like, "Oh my god, this brings back a memory." And I'm like,
Tuna
"I'm buying."
tetrazzini?
Yeah, I think it was that. Yeah, that was the one that I got. So I made that for the boys for dinner.
So this is the scene where we get some insight into John Bender's home life.
Yes, this is where we get real with Bender.
He shows Andrew that cigar scar.
Yep. He talks about how, for Christmas he got a carton of cigarettes, and that so he got the cigar scar from spilling paint in the garage.
Mm-hmm.
And basically he alludes to the fact that not only him but his mother are physically abused by his father.
Yes.
So it kind of gets everybody into this realization that, oh shit, kind of feel bad for him.
So then we get to a scene where now they're all walking together down the hallway. They're all together
So they all decided to leave somehow.
because they're going to Bender's locker, right?
Yes. But
They
they
need
don't know why they're going.
Okay, so the students all leave the library or the LRC to go to Bender's locker.
Yes.
And so they go to his locker, he gets his weed. Okay, so they're trying to go back to the LRC, right? They're trying to go back to the LRC, and Andrew, like John knows which way to go, right? Because you assume that he's just in Saturday school all the time.
Yes.
And he, Andrew is like, no, go this way, it's faster. Go this way, it's faster. And, so John's overruled. And then they they get to where Andrew thinks they should go, and there's a gate and it's locked. And that's when John takes the hit, right? He takes the hit for the group. So he stuffs his weed in Brian's short in his pants, which is which is a hot take. And it's an interesting thing to do to a human.
Yes. Very much so.
Let me shove my weed in your crotch. That's an intimate act.
Yeah.
And so
Bender heads to the gym and
so he starts singing. Oh my gosh, what is that song? I want to be an
airborne ranger.
There's a name to that. I can't think of it right now. And so so he's leading Vernon away from the kids so they can get back to the LRC. And so Vernon gets to Bender, and he gets in trouble, and so now he's moving Bender, and he puts Bender into a utility closet.
Yes.
And that's when Vernon threatens to fight him completely unprovoked.
Right.
Completely unprovoked. It's such a weird scene. Like, what?
Yeah, it's like he was trying to intimidate him, like, you're not in charge here. I am, and I'm gonna like take my power back from you or something. And I think, you know, Bender gets sort of scared, but it's almost like he's like in awe. Like, is this really happening? And what should I really do in this circumstance? Because I'm
Well, he
sure
doesn't have an
Bender
audience, right? He doesn't have an audience
he
to
doesn't have an
perform
audience.
for.
I'm sure he really would love to fight him, but at the same time, he's like,
Yeah, no, he can.
what am I supposed to do here? So he sort of backs off, and I think this also plays into the fact that he is an abuse victim, and he's kind of seeing that in Mr. Vernon is that this he's got some of the same qualities that my dad has.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a, but then, like, even on the Vernon part, like, what a piece of shit.
Yeah. Why would you want to fight a student? And
Right.
why, first of all, the locking him in a closet is terrible. But the fact that now you're threatening to fight a teenage kid?
Right.
Yeah.
It's so fucked up. So he leaves him there, and then
And
we
locks the
see,
door.
and you know what? I don't know how that's possible, but okay. Oh, yeah, I guess he would be able to lock it from out. No, that's not how fire codes work.
Well, this was the
It
80s.
was the 80s. So we see Bender climbing on the
He goes through
ceiling
the
grid system.
yeah, he
Oh,
goes through the ceiling tile and
yeah. He goes back over to the LRC and he's telling himself a joke.
yes, about
Where
how the woman has the poodle under one arm and a salami under the other, and she walks into a bar
we
and
never get the punchline of that joke,
there
do
is
we?
no punchline to the joke, and you can actually read because I think people were like, "Well, what was the punchline to the joke?" And there is no punchline. There never was a punchline to the joke. But she walks into the bar, and the bartender's like, "Well, I guess you don't need a drink." And there's no like punchline to it. There never was. And I think from what I read, that was improvised. Like Judd Nelson just made that up.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm here for it. Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine. But then he ends up falling through one of the tiles.
And it was a
Um
high ceiling. I
it was
mean,
nice.
he
So I'm
felt
hoping
like,
he fell to the second floor
yeah, I mean,
and
he,
not down to the first floor. So this is where I kind of had okay, LRC.
yep.
This one was two-story. I felt like this one was very similar to the one we had, but I couldn't remember it. Like, I'm like, I remember there were stairs and the stairs looked like that. They were like the open step stairs. I remember the couches. I remember all those things. I have no idea where this was in the high school. And so I messaged my bestie from high school, and I'm like, "Where the fuck was the LRC?" And she's married to, a Lakewood grad as well, and so she asks him. So, and then I texted Alana's best friend. I'm like, "Where's the LRC last year? Where's the LRC when you were there?" And he was like, "It's above the cafeteria to the right of Johnny Appleseed." I'm like, "Okay, so it's new building, second floor." Okay. Okay. Um,
Why can't I picture it
right. You
either?
can't picture it. And I'm like, it was two floors. He was like, no, it was only one floor. I was like, oh, okay. I mean,
Maybe we
that's
imagined that we actually had the library that was in the Breakfast Club.
no, it was two stories. And so I started going down a rabbit hole of old yearbook photos, like going back into the 70s and stuff like that. And there are pictures of like clubs that are on those stairs. So the stairs were there. So that they just like removed those at some point and just made just that's a major
So where
structural renovation that I I guess I did leave the state for a really long time, but um
Now I really can't picture it in my head at all.
it's hard to remember. And then like Christina was saying, like I think she was saying, because you could overlook the courtyard. And I was like, okay, but I still really can't. I really need to find like footage of the old LRC. I'm sure it exists. But anyway, that's my like tangent on the LRC was I know it was similar. I know it was similar to this one. So we got Bender back in the LRC. And so they're all sitting around. So they're all sitting around smoking joints.
Yes.
But Andrew is up in one of the study rooms, hotboxing himself. It's like, oh my God, you're very familiar with this recreational drug because you understand hotboxing.
Yeah, that he decided to go in the foreign language room and close the door.
Right. And then he goes back in and screams so loud that the glass shatters.
Yes. And
that's not what weed does.
No, and my husband notated while I'm watching this is that, Andrew comes out of that room and he starts dancing like a maniac and he's like hopping over like bookcases and like just going absolutely ape shit. And my husband's like, weed doesn't do that to you. You'd probably want to lay down and take a nap, but you're not jumping over bookcases. Like, what the hell? They made this out to be like
they were doing coke.
Right. Like maybe it was laced with coke. I don't know, but that was
a lot of activity out of Andrew.
Yeah.
I have personally never felt that from the
marijuana.
From the marijuanas.
Yeah, I think that would be the general consensus from marijuana smokers that you're not going to be dancing like a maniac.
You're not jumping bookshelves.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that scene doesn't make very much sense.
It doesn't make any sense. I think the most relatable is Brian.
Yeah, for sure.
Brian to me is the most relatable out of that. And again,
he's just so funny.
It is. It's very funny. He's and again he's talking to, I don't remember where this is, but you see his watch.
Yeah.
And he's got that classic Casio.
Yes. With the calculator. Yes.
And that is a core memory in our house.
It is. Shout out to Don Zabrowski.
Dad, because he had multiple of those, but he didn't have like the black plastic one. He had like the silver metal one.
Yeah.
He had like the fancy one.
The corporate edition.
Yeah, the corporate edition calculator watch.
Yes. For the professional man.
I do have a Casio. I did buy one. It doesn't have a keyboard, but
yeah,
so, and then here we go again. So now we're going to talk about virginity again. And so I'm over talking about this. Like it's just too much.
Yeah, everybody's virgins, blah, 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 blah. Then we start talking about why.
So then they're up on the second floor, right? They're sitting in the circle. This is that scene where they're sitting in that circle, shooting the breeze. Okay, so they're all sitting around in a circle, kind of talking about
what they did to get detention.
They started off with what they did to get into detention.
Yeah.
And then they went into their talents.
Yeah, because I remember they talk about their talents and then they kind of get into the end where they're sort of like arguing amongst them and Claire does the thing with her lip gloss, and then they talk about
Yeah, so they talk about their
the
detention first. You're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
and then they sort of argue, and then Brian's the one who sort of changes the subject. Like, do you want to know
Yes.
what I did to get in here? And then they start talking about that. But like the talents part was kind of whatever. That's why I kind of
Yeah.
left it out of my notes.
Yeah, it was a break. So we learned that Andrew um played a prank and taped Larry Lester's buns together,
Yeah.
which kind of grosses me out. So this is like a bunch of naked boys
Mm-hmm.
in a high school locker room, and a nerd, I guess some nerdy guy, right, who's very hairy, is also naked. Like, is it gym class? Is it, what is it? Why are they in the same vicinity of each other? One. And then you're like, I'm also naked and I'm going to hop on top of this guy and tape his buns together.
And his friends are all cheering him on and laughing, and they just think it's hilarious.
Because he wanted to make his dad proud.
Yeah, which is pretty interesting. So it's some sort of psychological reason that he thought that his dad would be proud that he like
Because his
fit.
dad used to do pranks and stuff like that, but his dad never got caught.
Right.
That's why. But
Yeah.
then he gets into that empath, that empathy piece where he's like what gets him is like
Right.
Larry's father
Yep.
having to get that call.
And then Larry having to explain to his dad what
What
happened to
happened to
him.
him? Right. So we start to see a little bit more complexity come out about that relationship between Andrew and his father.
Basically, that his dad just pushes him and pushes him and pushes him to be like the
You got to be
best.
the best.
You got to be the best. And Andrew has this hatred towards his dad for being so like pushy to him, and basically says, he's a mindless machine. He just wants me to keep going. And, you know, that's upsetting to Andrew. So then Brian talks about what he did to get detention. Basically, he thinks that he's stupid because he decided to take shop because he thought that it would be an easy A and he could keep his grade point average up. But he quickly realized that shop is not for stupid kids. And that was sort of a stereotype that people had, was that, well, if you take shop, it's easy. And Bender even makes a comment about that.
Why'd you think that'd be easy?
Why'd you think that shop would be easy?
Have you seen
Because
the type of people who take shop? I take
right,
shop.
right. So basically, Brian kind of had this image of shop kids that, hey, this is just a stupid class that, you can pass really easily. And Brian realizes that even though he's extremely intelligent, book smart, he couldn't get the lamp that he made to light up. And no matter how smart you are, sometimes, you might not be good at something that other people are very good at.
Right.
So,
Well, so then this brought up the whole, it's like the LRC we went to an amazing high school. I think that
yeah,
I think about it today, and I think about when I was in eighth grade, getting the course catalog for Lakewood High School. It was a book.
yeah,
It was a book
yes,
of courses because, and I understand not all high schools were like this. I do think that Lakewood was unique. Um, Mainly because I know that we brought students in from other cities for certain things like shop.
yeah.
There was an entire dedicated like automotive shop.
Mm-hmm.
We had
Which
it,
is still there.
which is still there.
Mm-hmm.
And the arts building, which is not there,
Mm.
had real arts, real like shop.
It was so amazing.
It
That
was,
building was like my home.
I loved that building.
We had like a ceramics class. We had a whole ceramics studio.
Yeah.
We had guitar lessons. There were actual like classrooms for learning guitar and like learning drums, and it was just anything that you wanted to learn, there was probably a class for it.
I took batiking.
Right.
Right. That was a class, batiking. Like
Yes.
it was amazing. And so,
And we had a
talk,
planetarium.
we did have a planetarium that's also gone.
Yes.
Um, that a lot of people like went to make out in the planetarium. I'm not saying I'm one of those people, but
No, of
like,
course not.
nah, no, of course not. No. Um, but that was a popular little location.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, like I just I miss that we don't have I don't that school doesn't have those things anymore.
No.
No, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah,
But they
very much
built
so.
a community gym. I'm not slamming on you, Lakewood. It was just we had so much.
We really did.
Yeah. I mean, we had like the driver simulators underneath the civic auditorium.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
you
I
don't see
often
that.
wonder if they're still there.
I think somebody asked that question like in a Facebook group, and they're not.
Yeah, I would imagine that they got
Yeah,
rid of
that
them.
they're
But
not there. Yeah.
yes, I remember taking that. It was so
Yeah.
good. Anyway,
So,
so
so he failed shop because, and then so um this scene confuses me. So this is when Brian explains why he got
that
detention was not because he failed shop. It was
right.
because he brought a gun to school.
Yes.
Not any gun. He brought a flare gun.
Yep. And they all kind of laugh about that.
Yeah, like,
um but we kind of
and it went
dig.
off. No, they just found it, right?
No, it went off in his locker. So the flare gun went off in his locker, and everybody kind of laughs about how funny that was. But we kind of do dig into Brian's explanation of why he brought the gun to school. Brian explains that, they kind of say, well, why'd you bring the gun to school?
And he wouldn't really answer that question.
Yeah. But then he does kind of say, well, it's because I
You
can't
can't
have an
have an
F,
F.
and my parents will not accept an F. And so I was kind of considering what my options were. And so he alludes to the fact that he considered taking his own life because he
Hmm.
cannot have an F.
And that's a
And
very real thing among,
yes,
AP people. Oh,
yes,
AP people out there. We're not in that group.
you would be more in that group than
Mm.
I ever was, but yeah,
Like that kind of pressure um, to excel
yeah,
is very real, and it's very real today, especially with parents who are projecting their own failures onto their kids. So like that was a real thing. And I'm not saying they lighten it, but it's like, what were you going to do with a flare gun, dude?
right.
That wasn't
And it kind of proves that he might not have really known what he was doing, and that he didn't realize that a flare gun was not something that, would actually harm him.
right.
Well, I guess it would harm
It would
him, but not.
harm them, but I mean,
He gets that off his chest, and I
he
think
gets off the opposite shots, and then they start talking about their talents, right?
no, I think that the talents were before they talk about why they were in detention. But it wasn't really of note.
Well, because it was after they talked about detention, because Andrew says his talent is taping all your runs together.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Right. So then this is okay. So this is a pivotal part in the movie because it's the exact scene. Well, let's talk about Claire and John in this scene where, I mean, he just lays into her by your poor, drunk mother. Like, how does he know where her mother is? One, um,
He really paints a picture, doesn't he?
he really does paint a picture, and it's just, it's, I don't know. I feel it was too much John versus Claire. And it wasn't a versus, it was just John at Claire the entire movie.
Yeah.
So, of course, what's going to happen? They're
Which,
going
I
to fall in
mean,
love. Like,
I guess I kind of get the idea of like, the outcast, sort of kind of having this unspoken tiff with the, really popular stuck up snobby kids. And so I think that that's sort of the idea of their relationship, is that, he just sort of has this, I'm going to personally attack you because you think you're better than everybody else, and I'm going to cut you down. And so, I mean, I get that, but also he is really mean to her. Um, and I don't think, I mean, I'm guessing they've never really talked before this Saturday school. So he didn't really have any ammo for attacking her.
no. So this conversation is the end of where Brian, it changes the subject back to, hey, do you think we'll all be friends after we leave detention? And Claire answers, no. I'm going to be honest with you, no. And it's the most real thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're not friends at all. Like, he's like, I consider you guys my friends. Ugh, really?
Yeah. And Bender's like, tells Claire that she's a bitch. Brian's crying. And like the whole scene is just kind of like, yikes. Brian says like, that him and Allison are better people than the rest of them because, Allison's kind of like, I don't have any friends. So of course I would be friends with you, Brian. If I saw you on Monday, yeah, I'm going to acknowledge you. We are friends. Um,
Which Claire's like,
and
well, of course you would. Like, you look up to us. So,
right. Yeah. Well, of course you guys would be, because I mean, we're, people of your caliber look up to us because we run this school. And Brian's like, you're so conceited, Claire.
you're so
You're so
conceited.
conceited. And Brian
You
just
know what,
says,
Claire?
yeah,
Fuck
fuck
you.
you.
Fuck you, Claire. It's just out of his mouth. It's just so awkward. It's so weird. Don't don't swear, Brian.
Yeah.
Don't swear. It
Yeah.
doesn't fit you. Uh and I know we're kind of jumping around a little bit because this scene does go on for quite some time. Allison just making up the whole story about the shrink,
Yes.
and he nailed me, but I don't think it can be considered rape because I paid him. Like, girl, what?
Yeah. And that, they had sex several times, but, and he's married, and, Claire's like, that's disgusting.
Disgusting.
And how can you live with yourself like that? And ultimately they find out that she's just a big liar.
Yeah, I'm a compulsive liar.
Yeah,
Cool.
I'd say so. So, yeah.
That's something to make up, I guess. Is that
So
how they close that? Is that how they end that scene? They're all laughing about something. You guys are laughing at me.
they're laughing at Brian because the flare gun went off at his locker.
That's not how that scene ends. it ends with Ally Sheedy saying, "Oh, you guys are laughing at me." Now I have to turn the movie on. No, no, we're not laughing at you. Oh, she says why she's in detention.
Oh, because she has nothing better to
She had
do.
nothing better to do. That's why they're laughing. And then that's where we cut to the "We Are Not Alone" scene.
I don't know what room he's in.
He's
It's
in
like
like a recording, like,
yeah, it's like a
oh,
full
it's like
blown
a radio station.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
that's got to be like the school radio station room. And so he's putting on "We Are Not Alone."
Yes. And everybody starts dancing.
I mean, it's a banger of a song.
It
It
is.
is a banger of a song. Um, and this is, you kind of get the individual dancing styles of each of the kids.
Yeah.
Um, and that's another key one because it was always like, oh my God, I want to be able to dance like Molly Ringwald. She's so good at that
So
hopping around or
apparently,
whatever she's doing.
apparently she took that choreography from Belinda Carlisle.
Did she?
Yeah, I saw a little blurb about how she actually took because she doesn't know Molly Ringwald does not know how to dance, and she did not know how to dance for this movie at all. So she watched a Go-Go's video and she copied Belinda Carlisle's moves.
Brilliant.
Yes.
And so this scene is the most rewound and watched scene in the Zabriskie household.
Yes.
Mainly because it's awesome.
But
And that,
also Bender goes back to the room that he was supposed to be in. So he's calling back through the ceiling. So
well, he's still in the dance scene. He's still in the music scene because he's banging his head up again. He's on
yeah,
the statue. So he's
oh
still
yeah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah. I'm
scene.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We're still in the dance scene. And the way that dance scene ends is with Ally Sheedy sort of doing that like shakedown into the
Yeah.
into the floor,
Hmm.
which our actress sister Carol would reenact
Yeah. I
over
wish
and over and over. Carol's off this week. Um,
it's
and
too bad. We
I
we
know.
could have recorded a video of her doing that.
I know if she could reenact that, we could like put that on social.
Yeah, that would be great. So
That'd be great.
Carol, you're gonna have to record a
Yeah.
video of that.
Yes. And so that, so that's a core memory is Carol in the living room performing that
Yes.
little dance scene. So then you see Bender crawling his way back to
How did he get up into that ceiling again? It's so tall.
I know. Mm,
Maybe there's a ladder or something to access like pipes or something like a utility something or other.
right. We don't question it. He's
Yeah,
back
we
up there. He's going back to his utility closet. Um, and so the kids is back in the LRC. They're all kind of sitting around, and Claire asks Brian, are you gonna write your paper? Basically, she just volunteers him to do it
yes.
for all of them because they're just not gonna do it. And they're like, "We trust you.
Yeah. You just write it for
You
us
just write it
because
for us." So Brian's like, "Okay, great. I've got a job." So he's gonna write the letter or the paper. Sorry, the
the
paper,
essay.
the essay, even though it starts with "Dear Mr. Byrne." Um, and then you've got Claire looking at Allison, and she's like, "Okay, come on, let's go. Let's go. Where are we
Yeah.
going?"
Just come on. Just come on. We got stuff to do.
So this is when Claire is giving Allison a makeover because obviously her look is just unacceptable. And so let's make you beautiful. But
There's
who
actually
doesn't love a good makeover scene?
that's true. But the funny thing is that you notice in this scene is that she's using this eyebrow brush. She's sort of penciling in and using this eyebrow brush. And earlier in the movie, when they're sort of going through everybody's personal stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Bender takes that makeup brush out of Claire's stuff and he's brushing his teeth with it. So it's the same brush that Bender is brushing his teeth with, looking in the little mirror. And then now she's using it on Allison on her
Yummy.
eyebrows.
Mm.
Yeah. Allison is now made over. She's a
She's
new
made
woman.
over. But before we see her, we cut to Claire, who somehow knows the exact utility closet that Bender
Yes.
is in. And she's able to access it.
Yeah.
And so they have their moment. It's like, okay, whatever.
And she kisses him on the neck.
Yeah, that was
And he's like,
weird.
why'd you do that?
Because I knew you wouldn't.
Then we cut back to Allison emerging from her makeover out of that little room. And Andrew is just dumbfounded and smitten.
He is smitten. He is smitten. Like, but you can tell throughout the whole movie, he's kind of been like, you're interesting. You're interesting. I think, like, and they had that moment earlier on, when she had dumped out her purse.
And they kind of talk about her parents, about what
Yeah, they ignore me.
Yeah. And so
They've
they
already kind of started like, and then she comes out where you can actually see her face, and she's not wearing all the black. Although I'm going to say there was nothing wrong with the way she looked.
nothing at all wrong with how she looked.
But
he does notate
I think she looked better than she had like in that hairstyle. That hairstyle was gross.
Yes.
The new one. Like that, she looked like a character out of Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah, kind of, yes.
Yeah.
So, Andrew's happy that he can see her face now. Brian kind of looks at her and he gives kind of a little laugh, and she does this like she's gonna punch him, and then he kind of gives her this like, no, I mean, you look good, and then she smiles like, thank you.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Then everybody's leaving detention.
Yeah, so they're leaving Saturday school.
And they say bye to Carl, the janitor, which, by the way, at the beginning of the movie, they show the Man of the Year. And Carl was the Man of the Year from 1969 or something, but now he's the janitor.
Right.
So he went from Man of the Year to the janitor, which, whatever. Andy and Allison are now kissing.
Right. They're in love.
They're in love now. And they've really progressed quickly. And
she steals the letter, or she steals the patch off the side, not his letter, but like this patch off the side.
Yeah, she not just rips it. No, she just rips this patch off the side of his jacket.
Like I could see that if it wasn't sewn.
Yeah, I'm like
if it was stitch witcheried, I could see. I could see. Could like easily rip that off. But and then Claire gives Bender one of her diamond earrings.
Yes. This is weird for me that he's like kissing her, like essentially right next to the front wheel well of the car. Yeah. So like as a parent, you're sitting there in the driver's seat and you can see like this dude kissing your daughter who is, if I'm the BMW dad and I'm looking at my, princess daughter kissing this guy who looks like Bender, I'd be like, what the
actual fuck is happening?
Right. And I'd probably get out of the car and be like, what is going on here? Like, you were here for Saturday school. What is going on? Get your mouth off of him or whatever. But like, he just sits there and they kiss, and then she gets in the car and they just sort of drive away. And like, it's just kind of strange. Like, does this happen often that she's just like,
well, I think it happened quick enough that like there was no reaction time, because she immediately sort of bows out from under him. Like the way she
Yeah.
moves is sort of like, okay, I'm going to get away from you now. It's weird.
Yes. So yeah. So they just take off and Bender puts his earring in and he starts walking. And you kind of go back into, cut back to the LRC and Mr. Vernon's in there and he finds the essay from the Breakfast Club.
Right.
And you can hear Brian's voice.
He's doing a voiceover.
And he says, Dear Mr. Vernon, we accept the fact that we had to sacrifice a whole Saturday in detention for whatever it is we did wrong. But we think you're crazy to make us write an essay telling you who we think we are. You see us as what you want to see us, in the simplest terms, the most convenient definitions. But we found that each of us is a brain, and an athlete, and a basket case, a princess, and a criminal. Does that answer your question? Sincerely yours, The Breakfast Club.
So they basically come together to realize they're all of those things.
Yes.
Collectively. So then you got Bender coming back across the football field. And they didn't have a great way to kind of wrap this up. They wanted him to do some different things in this shot. It was Judd Nelson that came up with the fist to the sky.
Yeah.
Because they had him doing a few different things and nothing really felt right. But then he did that, and it was like, okay, yeah, that's it.
Yep.
And that was the end of The Breakfast Club, 1985. John Hughes. Did it age well? Yes.
Yeah. It's a classic.
It's a classic of our time.
If you have never seen The Breakfast Club, which collectively throughout
you shouldn't have listened. If you've never seen it, you shouldn't have even listened to this podcast.
I have talked to quite a few people in the past few weeks that have actually said, yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that. And I was like,
that's crazy.
Excuse me? What? How could you have not seen The Breakfast Club?
Right.
Like, I feel like it's constantly on TV. It's a classic. It's like, I feel like if you haven't seen this movie, you're not even living life.
I think this is Shermer Alumni Association Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We absolutely adore this movie.
5 stars.
I think it's 5 stars. It's so relatable. It brings you so back into your own experiences. Maybe not everybody. Maybe it's just me who had Saturday school all the time.
Yes,
I think I still have those Saturday school like slips because I have like a folder of like high school paperwork. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere in storage, but I think I still have them, like where they're signed by Mr. Posendek and then signed by me.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I think I have them. It's a great, going down memory lane movie. Coming of age, definitely. And it does have an innocence about it. And that's the beauty of John Hughes. It's not raunchy, at the time, we've got things like Revenge of the Nerds and Porky's and, movies like that where it's like raunchy comedy. And this was innocent, more, coming of age. So I think that's what makes it stand up to the test of time is, outside of the very many times it talks about Claire's virginity. I mean, that's as raunchy as it gets. So we love you. We love you, Breakfast Club. And I'm glad we watched this one this week. It was great to kind of go through this one again. It's a treat to watch.
Yes. Agreed.
All right. I think that's all we have for this week.
It is.
Gosh, yes. And Carol will be back until next week.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining. Bye.